Welcome back, listeners. I'm super excited today to share with you a guest of mine and a dear friend, Sammy Farrens. And Sammy has had this very interesting path to here where you're at currently. And you are in the business right now of helping other entrepreneurs in a very unique way, in a very unique style. And I want you to stay tuned and listen because there are some pearls of wisdom that you're going to get from this podcast today that Sammy's going to share with you, and that may be life changing. And so I want you to first share. You have your background is you've been to the military. You have been a painter for many years. How many years?
25. Yeah, 25.
25 years, and you've built your business to a 7-figure business, and you help other painters do that as well, and other entrepreneurs, and other trades, And now you have your background. You have worked with people like Ed Milet, John Maxwell. I almost called him Jack. It's like, wait, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, John Maxwell, and some significant key players in leadership. And you are neuro-linguistic trained. You're a master coach.
Yep.
What else am I forgetting?
I'm a husband of
You are a husband,
years, a grandpa.
father, and adorable pop. I ran into you at Red Robin and on Thanksgiving, and you and your family were having dinner, and it was so cute. I was like, look at how cute they are, and they're all like all over you.
Oh yeah, Hop Pop's the favorite. Yeah, that's what it's got.
I
skip over the kids because once you get to the grandkids, the kids
it
can't
don't matter. Yeah, that's so funny. That was so awesome. So tell me, obviously you've had this just amazing journey of where you currently are. Tell me a little bit more about your story and the why behind why you're here.
So my story would start with my mom, who was my biggest inspiration, still is to this day. Unfortunately, she passed away in 2008. But it was through her teachings of life. She lived in a wheelchair. She had polio.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but that was never her excuse. That was never her. She still strived for the best life she could have.
Yeah. Wow.
And while we still grew up, per se, poor, she still got to live her life's dreams. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was in her passing that I really found gratitude in my life, that this woman that never walked a day in her life still achieved everything she wanted. And her words, not mine. God blessed her with the best life.
Wow. That's so amazing.
Yeah. And I thought,
what a gift.
Yeah. And it was a gift to, like, I knew my mom was kind of popular. We were from a small town, 2,000 people. When her funeral, there was at least 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Oh my word.
And everybody had a story with her.
Wow.
She had touched so many lives.
Yeah.
And
what a blessing.
It was just, it was truly amazing. And I said, okay, well, now it's up to me. I got to start touching people's lives. Yeah. I didn't know what that looked like. Had done the military thing and got done with that and went and worked for McDonnell Douglas. Then they switched over to Boeing. Got laid off. I was still waiting on them to call me back. That was 1997.
How'd you be with any girl help?
Fingers crossed. Still might.
Still wait. Yeah.
So, but went and worked for them, got laid off, and a buddy of mine called me up and he said, hey, this drywall company I work for, they're hiring tapers.
Yeah.
And I got you an interview. And I said, dude, what's a taper?
Yeah. Like, what's that?
And he said, Sammy, don't worry about it. You'll be okay.
Just show up. Okay. That's kind of what you did back then, right? You're just like, okay, hey, you got some work for me? All right, I'll do it.
I'm in. I'm broke. I'm in. And so I show up this work trailer and I'm in a suit and tie and in construction world, that's just...
Yeah, that's hilarious. Like, are you lost?
Yeah. Well, no, the guy asked me, he said, I walked in and I got my briefcase.
Yeah.
And he says, son, I don't know what you're saying, but I'm not buying it. So just just head on out.
That is so funny.
And I signed up. No, I'm here for an interview. And I sat down and gave my resume. And he says, well, you've done body work on airplanes and on this and on that. You could do it on a house. He goes, here, be at this address tomorrow. My son will be there. He'll have tools for you. And I said, his name was John Ruther. Unfortunately, he's passed away. Great guy, great guy. And he said, I said, did I just get hired?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, for what?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm getting hired for.
Yeah.
And he says, just show up tomorrow. Should be all right.
All right.
And it's 20 some years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
For me, I look back now and I this is where it inspires me a lot. 2 people believed in me whenever I didn't have belief.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I look at people now and I go, you just need somebody else to believe in you.
Yeah.
So I see the good in everybody. I see the greatness that they
can't see themselves. I feel like that is so important. And let's talk about that for a minute. That showed up for you. And how much of a difference did that make in your life? Them believing in you when you didn't even know if you could do the work.
Yeah. And that's, it changed my life.
Right.
Like literally without that happening, I'm not sitting here with you today.
Yeah.
More than likely. I'm who knows what. I literally went from a $9 an hour fabrication job after getting laid off from Boeing with 3 kids, at that time 2 kids, but still. And it was like, oh,
wow.
We're so broke and life sucks and what do I do?
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, and I know a lot of people are in that same thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going, life sucks. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what's next in my life.
Yeah.
I was in the same spot where a lot of people are even now and every day.
Yeah.
I forgot to dream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I forgot what it was to go, you know what? Other things are possible in my life and I can achieve those.
Yeah.
And it took those 2 other people going
to give you that
bump and allow me to dream again.
Yeah.
So
that is so important.
Oh, it's
having a vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one thing to think about, listeners. What is your vision for you and your business? Having that vision, a man without a vision shall surely perish. It's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen it. It's scary. It's scary to watch.
And it's scary to live in.
It is scary to live in.
To think that, well, how many times have we heard this? Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I know. I'm like, no, don't say that. Like, you live in a world of unlimited possibilities. Create it,
Create it.
Yes.
And I love that you just said that because that's what it takes.
Yeah.
It takes that belief, but then it takes the action, which is the creation.
Correct.
And you have to do that.
Yeah.
But again, that's the part where it's hard to even get the belief into a lot of people, much less get them into action.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for me, it was, so I was worked with that company for, worked in the union for 11 years. And then 2008 hits, right? And I went from 33 or $34 an hour. I was doing side work, well over $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
To laid off from 12 companies.
Yeah.
Like
overnight,
couldn't find a side job. Those side jobs and the trades are a big deal for the people.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, I had averaged less than $9 an hour.
Wow.
And it was the promises, a company would call me and they'd say, oh, we've got so much work and we need help. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I would go and help do a house or 2.
Yeah.
And then laid off.
We're done. Yeah. Wow.
And so fast forward to 2010 in the struggle, and I lost everything. We went from having 20-some acres and a Morton building and a boat, the dream.
Yeah. The dream life. Yeah.
To a big savings account. Like we had it all, to pawning or selling everything.
Whoa.
I sold a $9,000 boat for $1,000.
Oh,
Just
because we got made some money. You got to eat, yes.
and worked at a work here, pay here day place, which I'll never forget. I would drive over to this place in St. Charles, and they would tell me, "Oh, you're going to go work over here today." So I would go to this factory or whatever, work the whole day. And when I say whole day, it was 8 or 10 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'd drive back to this place to get my 1-day paycheck, which by time you took out taxes, it might be $25.
Oh, my word.
And I was like, well, I got gas for tomorrow to get me back.
Yeah.
And I can get some hot dogs and, French fries,
Yes.
or mac and cheese, and we did that for a year. And
Wow.
So this struggle was more than real.
Oh, my
and then
God.
to watch everything you built just go away, and feeling so helpless, like, I can't control this, but it's totally out of my control. And I look now and I go, that was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what kind of lessons were learned there?
And
I know, right?
I learned how to cook mac and cheese. Really, that was a great lesson.
Wait, without the milk? Because we used to make ours without the milk with soda. Yeah, I was like, no, we'll just use water. Just use the water and mix the cheese. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
But no, it was a lesson also of looking at the truth. And the truth was, there was a lot that I could have done.
Yeah.
That I didn't.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot of, I could have went and sought out more jobs. I could have called more companies. I could have, even though I was in the union at the time, hey, when you're broke, you call the non-union places. Hey, I'm
available. I can work. Mm-hmm.
Be willing. And at that time, I wasn't, to call those other places. And the fear that I would call these other places and they'd go, "Oh yeah, we'll have you, but we can only pay you $20 an hour."
Yeah.
Or $25 an hour. Instead of I was
I'm worth it. I need at least. Yeah.
And it's like, the 20 an hour would have been a lot better than the 25 a day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And so, it was.
Well, I feel like too, now going through that experience, do you feel like now you know your value a lot more?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that experience, so I fast forward 11 years, I decide I'm going to open up my own company.
Mm-hmm.
My wife went to her one day and I said, "I'm tired of all this, the way I'm getting treated by these Yahoonies. I'm going to do my own thing." 110% support.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a better person to have in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do it. And I'm very young in business.
Yeah.
Very young. And I'm still pretty broke. Like $5 or $10 to my name.
Yeah.
And I go and I'll never forget that. I did have one guy that was working with me. And I went to a lady's house and she give me a bid for painting this, painting that. And it came up to $1,000. And I looked at it as I wrote it out. I was like, oh my God, $1,000.
Like about having a panic attack.
Yeah. Like, there's no way. Why would anybody? Because I've never done a job for $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way she's paying. And I turned the paper around and I showed it to her and I said, it'll be $1,000.
Yeah.
And she looked at it. The word changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she said. And I said, I'll do it for $700. That fast.
Oh.
The word scared me so bad because I was so broke and I needed
yeah.
I had to have the job. And she said, of course, she said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
Yeah.
Now hurry, get the pin.
Don't let him save his.
Yeah. Save his money.
Yeah. And 2 days later, we finished the job. And after I paid for all the materials and paid the one guy that was helping me out, I made $13.
Oh my.
And I was like, oh my God, $300 that I code off so fast because I was so scared to death that I wasn't going to make money or I needed money.
Yeah.
Caused me to lose all my profit. And it was in that moment that I said, okay, I will never question my worth again.
Yeah. Good for you.
And it's either a yes or a no. And you got to be okay with the no.
Yeah.
To understand that some people
are a no. Yeah.
And that's
It's not a good fit.
And you go find your yeses.
Yeah. And I think too, like when you're new in business, we tend to maneuver like that a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Then once we kind of get our footing and we get a little experience under our belt, we tend to be like now. I mean, I've been in business for myself for 16 years. Now I'm like, oh no, you're definitely not my client.
Oh,
and I'm like, no, or you're fired. Like, no, I don't know where you came from, but we're not a fit,
Yep.
So, and I'm like very matter of fact about it. But yeah, when I first started, oh no, it was give me everybody.
Yeah. And I think, and for most like business owners, you have to go through that.
You do.
That's where your confidence is built.
Correct. Yeah. It is part of the stepping stones of, and then also too, like you were saying, the belief. Maybe someone else believes in you more than you believe in yourself. I mean, I've experienced that too, and I'm sure you too, with listeners, you probably have as well. You can comment below and share your experience with what we're talking about. How is it that you shifted now to helping entrepreneurs grow their business?
I'm old.
Like, I don't have to paint anymore. The trades are beating me up.
The trades are beating me down.
Yeah.
No, it goes back to my mom.
Yeah.
It does. When she passed away, I had an overwhelming gift of gratitude that was given to me. And it was unfortunately through her passing is when I received that. And for me, it was, okay, how do I get this gift out to other people?
Yeah.
And while I enjoyed the painting and the painting industry and the business, I knew that wasn't going to be the avenue. And I feel like life happens for us, not to us.
Correct. I 100% agree.
And I had a lady, my first 6 years in business, I did everything wrong.
Like, okay, give me like two really big things that you were like, oh my gosh, I effed that all up.
Didn't do taxes.
Oh, that's a big one.
This ain't going to be live, is it?
Not live. We won't tell them where you live.
No, I've taken care of that now.
Yeah.
But didn't do taxes. Everything was cash. Like, cash. Let's do this. Paid employees under the table. Didn't have workman's comp for a few years. What changed my business was I never knew what networking was.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Again, I was like a lot of people. I went into the whole industry.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know either. Yeah.
I went into the whole industry thinking, I am so good at what I do that people will just want to fly
to me.
Oh, they'll come to me.
Yeah.
Millions.
They'll find me.
Yes.
Without the internet, because we didn't have internet. They'll just find you. Magically.
And no, it doesn't happen.
No. And there's, what's interesting is there's many business owners that truly believe that.
Oh, yeah.
I've talked to many and they all were like, well, yeah, I opened it and I thought they'd come. They'd come running.
Yeah.
Like,
if you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. Yeah.
And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build it.
The building part is good.
Not if you open it.
Our framing around the build it is different, right? Yeah. Not open the door. Open the door. Yeah. They'll all just come running.
Yeah. And I had a lady come to me and she said, oh, you should come to this boot camp thing and start networking with us and this and that. So I'd started networking and I found out that when you network, you do your little 60-second pitch where you stand up.
Yeah.
And I'm an attention guy. I just am. And standing up in front of people was just a high to me. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, what can I do to do more of this?
Yeah.
Because this is really cool. And then she said, oh, I have this boot camp, and it was an NLP, the neurologistics.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to it, and I'll never forget the lady that put it on was from California. And she did her little 4-hour thing. And at the end of it, she walked up to me and she said, hey, Sammy, great having you here today. What'd you think? And I looked her in the eye and I said, well, I think it was great, but I also think you're full of crap.
Straight up.
And this is why I went NLP and I've done these other trainings. And she looked at me in that moment. She said, "That's okay. Success isn't for everybody." And turned around, walked on. And I was like,
Like a slap in the face.
"Oh, yeah."
Yeah.
I smacked her. She smacked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a harder punch.
She did.
Soul punch.
But what drew me at that moment was, how did she know what to say? Because I chased her down to give her money.
Yeah.
And I was so just, how did she know?
Yeah.
And so now,
That is hilarious.
now I understand more of what she knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I want to give to people, is just that communication gift, that knowing yourself better than you ever have. And watch how that changes your life. Not just business, but your personal life, your kids, your relationship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everything is so intertwined.
It is. And as we know in neurolinguistics, how you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything. So if you are having turmoil in your relationships, it probably spills over into your parenting, your business, all your relationships and stuff. And, and then vice versa. If it's in your in your, in your business or whatever, it's just, it's everywhere. It's seeping in everywhere, because how you show up is how you show up.
Oh, yeah.
And you're showing up from your past hurts, your past, whatever, and you've gone through all of the
emotions.
Yeah, all of your, we call them filters, that maybe you experienced a teacher telling you were dumb and you were never going to amount to anything. I mean, I hear that all the time. And then you see how it's playing out in somebody's life. Or your parents told you, sit over there in the corner and be quiet, and you don't like being seen. So there's a lot of those things that come up within our business as well. What are some of the challenges that you help your clients overcome?
I would say the biggest one is communication.
Yeah.
It's finding your voice, your true voice, and understanding exactly what that voice means to those around you.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, even as business, I know multi-million-dollar business owners that don't have a voice.
Yeah.
But they, and somebody might say, well, how'd they build their business and this and that? They gave their voice to somebody else. Maybe they've got a marketing manager, or, their team is just great.
They've got people that do the work.
And it's to find your voice is to accept your greatness.
Yeah.
Accept the gratitude that that these people that work for you. There's a study that was done just a couple of years ago. Less than 10% of companies or of employees get told thank you by their employer.
Wow. Once a year? Oh my word. Wow.
And it's, you want to build your company.
Yeah.
Part of your voice is to really, it's in that mindset of looking at your employees not just as a number or a figure, or
helping them be seen and and validated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just totally allowing that. And in that communication, it's understanding. Well, you kind of touched on it a minute ago. It's to look at somebody, to really look at your employee or your client.
Yeah.
And go, hey, something going on?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, what's going on? Is there something I could do to help?
Yeah.
This person is a little bit different today, and maybe their kid got in a car wreck yesterday.
Yeah.
Maybe they fell down, broke their arm. Maybe the wife and him got in a big fight this morning.
Yeah.
So to just simply show empathy.
Yeah.
And compassion.
Versus the judgment.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why ain't you doing a good job today? What's going on? Just get back to work. No. Hey.
You don't know what they're going through. Yeah.
It's to learn to be, and here's the phrase I give it: learn to be an emotional communicator.
Yeah. I love that.
And it will drive your business. It will drive your relationship with your customers and clients. You want to build a multi-million-dollar business?
Yeah.
Learn how to make every customer, your client, a voice for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn how to do that. Because if you have one voice, if you have all of your clients and customers also talking for you.
Yeah, I love that. Such a great pearl of wisdom there. Such a pearl of wisdom. Yeah, there's nothing better than a testimonial from a happy client, someone who you've worked with that is getting the results that you want them to get, or above, like even they're achieving even more than what you anticipated they could and what they thought they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that amazing to watch where you're just like, "Oh my goodness, this is so cool."
And it's to understand that everybody, no matter what industry you're in, everybody is your prospect. And so I've gotten jobs standing at Walmart.
Yeah.
Somebody come up, we get to talking, and it's communication.
Mhm.
And it's because most people are going to ask this simple question.
Yeah. What do you do?
What do you do?
Mhm.
And now what I teach companies and people and networkers is don't just say, oh, I run a painting company. Make it a question that drives a conversation.
Yeah.
And so, hey, what do you do? I put rainbows in people's houses.
Mhm.
What? Tell me, wait, what are you talking about? Now you have a conversation.
Yeah.
Now you
got their attention.
Yeah.
And it wasn't standard, like the standard, like I paint. Yeah.
Because when they ask that question, especially in a networking world, it's a judgment question.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's what do you do? That way I can judge whether or not I need you.
Right.
And if I don't, this conversation.
Yeah, like you're already out of mind. Yeah. Right? You're almost done.
Without getting to know you, without getting to know anything else about you.
Yeah.
It's, what do you do? Why do this? Oh, I don't need you. All right, good meeting you.
Yeah.
And they're out. Well, wait a minute. I also do this or this, and I help with it. But
then
conversation's over. They already judged you. They're gone.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's
very interesting. Yeah. Tell me about one of your testimonials for like a client that you've worked with recently. Like that. An amazing outcome.
Coaching clients?
Yeah. Yeah. One of your coaching clients.
So I have a client right now that is in North California, and he owns I'm going to describe this the best that I can. Tyler, if you see this, I'm so sorry. He builds boxes for exterior beautification of yards.
Okay.
They're these metal boxes, and they fill them with these beautiful rocks, and they make retaining walls. But he does a lot of stuff. He does fire pits with these boxes.
Okay. Okay, this is very interesting. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. I'm thinking shipping container, but it's smaller.
It's small. It's
okay.
I think it's a 1-by-1 box.
Okay.
And it's this metal box.
Okay.
It's beautiful. So
interesting. Okay. A friend would love these.
Oh, yeah. And so he starts coaching with me, and the first coaching session, I was like, what's your biggest problem? Oh, I've got this one employee. He only had 2 employees. I have one employee that doesn't show up on work on time. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. But he's great. They weld these boxes.
Yeah.
But he's a great welder. And I said, yeah, but he's a drain on you and your company. So it doesn't matter. And it was a friend of his, one of his best friends. Okay. I said, you have to to start this off, you have to do the hardest thing and let him go. And then it's a matter of finding a replacement. Well, saying there's nobody. I said, there's somebody. There's somebody.
Yeah.
So we went, and so that was our start. First conversation. Second conversation in that same phone call was, hey, here's the predicate system and how we use it, how you talk to people and how you process information. And we did the whole process information thing. Fast forward 1 week, and we get on the call. He starts the call off and he says, I let him go. I fired the guy. I've already rehired somebody. I've already got a new hire.
Wow, that's quick.
The guy's amazing. And I found him by listening to his processing system.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, that's...
Whoa.
Now, and this is a guy... And as a coach, that's what you want.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, to know that what you said to
Yes.
train.
Made the difference. Yeah. I love that. That's so awesome.
And so I was like, yeah, okay, this is so awesome. Fast forward one more week and he's almost doubled his business.
Huh? That is so cool.
Because now he was listening to his clients.
Yeah.
And he landed a couple other bigger jobs that he wasn't expecting to get. Got on, doubled his business. Oh my God, I got to hire another guy.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh.
I'm like, and it was all because communication.
Yeah.
Like, so that it's been one of my, this guy, he's what every coach out there wants.
Yeah.
Because he takes everything that I give him and he implements it right then. Like we did a vision thing before he went on vacation. I had asked him, I said, so, give me a vision of your house. Like, what's your dream house and this and that? And this is a very simple guy. He's like, oh, Sammy, I just want a few acres and give me a ranch house and this and that. I said, okay, go deeper.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms? How many this? What? Go deep.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, no, that's all I want. And I couldn't get it. Like, he was fighting it. He thought, I want to go deeper. Look, I just want a nice ranch house, a couple bedrooms. I don't care.
Really?
He goes on vacation for 2 weeks, comes back. We hop on a call. And he starts telling me what the doorknobs look like on the house. He starts telling me what the smell of the house is, what the tile was like in the bathroom.
Okay.
And come to find out, he had got off that call and went and talked to his wife and said, hey, I don't know what this looks like. And they came up with the vision of this dream house together. And he had the whole thing
mapped out. Yeah.
Everything was mapped out. The garden. In this row, we're going to have tomatoes. And in this row, we're going to have.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Detail.
That's the vision. And that's what a lot of people, when it comes to that dream and that belief, you got to have it.
You have to.
You got to have the vision.
You got to know where you're going or you're going to run in circles. Right?
Travel around.
Yeah.
No headlights.
That's I remember one of my coaches was like, do you ever get on the runway to just kind of swirl around and kind of do donuts and stuff? No, you get on the runway to go fast and take off, right? You don't just sit there and piddle around and drive around in the big airplane. Yeah, and hope that someday your wheels come off the ground. Yeah. So I love that.
Destination. What's the destination? I don't know.
Yeah. But then you also, when you call the airport or the airline back in the day, before it was all online, you had to know where you were going in order to book a flight from here to here. But if you don't know that, how do you know what your path is?
Yeah.
You don't know where you're going.
No idea.
Yeah. You're just blindly cruising around
and then you want
runway.
And the sad part about that is people will do that for years, if not some for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And then years have gone by or a lifetime and now we're old and it's always, what's your biggest regret? And it's the things that you didn't do.
Yeah.
And it's never something that you did.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things you didn't do. And it's like, but you could have.
Do you ever see people try to fit their dreams within their current budget?
Oh, yeah.
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 I think that's one of the hardest things that we do as humans is we quit dreaming or we say, well, or we'll talk ourselves out of the dream because it doesn't align with the budget that we currently have instead of finding a way, because we live in a world of unlimited possibilities. We can make it happen. They just have to have the mindset shift.
I think a lot of people, it even happens before they get to their budget.
Yeah.
I'm only worth.
True. Yeah.
It happens.
Yes.
We even way before. And a lot of that goes back to how we were raised.
Correct. Belief system.
Yeah. It's the richest person I grew up with. And I thought they were just rich.
Yeah.
Come to find out, they made $14 an hour.
Wow.
That was it. That was the richest
person you knew?
Wow. This person. Wow. That was my uncle. And what I really found out was he knew how to use the government. He knew how to use the systems. He knew how to file bankruptcy every 7 years and get in your car and get in your trailer I'll recycle it and then write it all off on a bankruptcy.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
So I always looked at this guy that had the new stuff.
Yeah.
But being young, I didn't realize that, oh, this only happens after 7 years.
Yeah.
He's
getting a new car again.
Man, that guy is awesome.
Did it take a while? Yeah.
So that's what I grew up with. And then to get out in the world. And then I was also taught that, rich people are not nice. Rich people are buttholes and they're all out for themselves. And so that was a big struggle for me as I opened up my own business, or even as I started accomplishing more in my life.
And as you grew?
That's
Well, because you don't want to become the jerk, Yeah. So like in your mind, you're like, well, I can't become that. So then it keeps you playing smaller,
oh yeah.
So there's a lot of times we see that in entrepreneurship as well. Yeah.
I sat with my mom at our kitchen table one time, and I was working for Boeing at the time. I think I was making 23, 24 bucks an hour, which was just, oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I had just bought a new truck, and I remember I sat at the table with my mom, and she asked me, because even at that, we were having some conversation about more that I wanted.
Yeah.
And she goes, when is it going to be enough? And I said, what do you mean? And she goes, Sammy, you got a new truck. You got a great job. Why is that not enough for you? And I said, Mom, I don't want to live this life. And I'm sitting in a house that literally, God love her, they struggled every week to pay the bills, to make sure there was food and all these other things. And I said, I don't want your life. I want whatever it takes to make sure that I don't have this
struggle. Yeah.
And,
Wow.
So it was with that I grew up that way my whole life. So when I started meeting even 6-figure earners and then 7-figure, it was to really go, these people aren't evil, they're not bad, and this is okay.
So, Sammy, how do people get a hold of you if they want to go ahead and work with you on coaching?
Go on me, please help. And trust me, I am always looking for help. No, you can look up discovermentaledge.com. That's the website. I'm on Facebook, Sammy Farrens, all the social media stuff.
Yes. I love your social media.
Big on TikTok. TikTok, and I don't dance, so don't worry about that. But on TikTok, it's Mental Edge. And go check out the website, and I do a weekly blog, and just come learn.
Awesome. I appreciate you being on, Sammy. It has been absolutely amazing. Love all the tips and tools you've shared. You're an amazing human, and I'm so glad that we know each other. So,
and I'll make sure you share this podcast, because this is a rock stuff.
Oh, thank you.
So make sure you share it.
You're awesome. I appreciate you. Listeners, we will talk to you soon. Please invite others to listen, subscribe, share, and we appreciate you. Have a great day.